Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be episode 142 for you guys today. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of episode 142 for you guys this week. I'll be sharing my Super Bowl game summary on the Super Bowl that took place last night in the NFL. So, the NFL season has officially been closed. It is a new it has been an end of an NFL chapter that has been written in the NFL season, as the season has officially ended. The Kansas City Chiefs defeated the San Francisco 49ers in last night's Super Bowl 25-22 in overtime to win back-to-back Super Bowls in the National Football League. So, my thought, or before, something I gotta get off my chest. Before we actually dive into the game summary, I've got to get this off my chest. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anybody out there that is complaining about seeing the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes win another Super Bowl, it's silly. And we all should be basking in the glory of Patrick Mahomes, because as myself, as a sports fan, we all live to see dynasties. We all live to see greatness in the world of sports. And that's what we're witnessing with the Kansas City Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes, with Andy Reid, with Travis Kelce right now, a dynasty that is ongoing right now in the National Football League. Let's enjoy greatness while we can, and let's enjoy the ride that we are on the journey of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid winning their third Super Bowl in Kansas City over the last 5 to 6 years. Right now, I have Patrick Mahomes as the second best quarterback of all time behind Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. I said it. Patrick Mahomes is the second best quarterback in NFL history. Patrick Mahomes has established that he's the second best quarterback in NFL history from what he accomplished last night against the San Francisco 49ers, winning that ball game in overtime, overcoming not one but two 10-point deficits, or actually three 10-point deficits in Super Bowls to win all three of those Super Bowls that he's been a part of. Patrick Mahomes has already immortalized himself as an NFL Hall of Famer, an NFL all-time great. He has 3 Super Bowls. He has 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He has 15 playoff wins. So that's the third all-time behind Joe Montana at 16. He now has 2 MVPs. What really more does Patrick Mahomes really have to prove that he is the second best quarterback of all time behind Tom Brady, who is the greatest player to ever put on football pads in NFL history? Patrick Mahomes has already led this team to back-to-back Super Bowls in the last 2 NFL seasons. And for him to do this, winning 3 Super Bowls in 6 starting seasons as an NFL quarterback, 50% of his starts in the National Football League for seasons, he has already duplicated that to win 6 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes is greatness. Let's all enjoy the ride. Let's all enjoy what we're seeing out of Patrick Mahomes, because this is what you live for if you're a sports fan. We live to see greatness. Patrick Mahomes is the definition of greatness right now. And we can never really question Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs ever again. On their worst year, they still somehow, some way found a way to win the Super Bowl. Even when Patrick Mahomes even had to go on the road for the first time in the playoffs in his NFL career, he still beat some big-time names, the best quarterbacks that the league has to offer, in Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, beating them in Buffalo. He went on to the number 1 seeded Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, and beat them in Baltimore. We got to give Patrick Mahomes his credit, and I've seen enough. He's already the second best quarterback of all time. But now going into the game was really entertaining last night between the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. In the beginning part of the game, in the first half, I will say it was pretty boring. Wasn't something that I was looking forward to watching personally. The first half of that game really gave me 2019 vibes of the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams when they played in the Super Bowl back in 2019. And that was really a defensive battle. The final score of that game was 13-3. And I thought the way how the first half was going, maybe we were in store for a game like that. But luckily, the second half brought all the excitement, all the thrill, all the joy that you want to witness in a Super Bowl game. And the second half in overtime gave you that. But That whole entire second half, and especially overtime, had me on the edge of my seat. And I'm not even a Kansas City Chiefs or 49ers fan, but the 49ers played good enough to win this game. I do feel bad for them in this sense because they did everything right. They did everything correct. They just couldn't slow down Patrick Mahomes when it mattered most. I mean, you're looking at the stats. Brock Purdy, their quarterback, that was labelized as a game manager, really didn't show he was a game manager last night at all. Actually did everything he was supposed to do to win the ball game. He was just playing a much better quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, an all-time great. But Brock Purdy played mistake-free football. Christian McCaffrey was electric in the backfield and as a passing option for the San Francisco 49ers offense. So they really didn't do anything really wrong. And I just feel like they played well enough to win this game, but they just played a much better Kansas City Chiefs team and a much better quarterback on the opposing side in Patrick Mahomes. But really, we got to look at this now. This is something that needs to be addressed. And the thing that needs to be addressed, the elephant that needs to be addressed in the room, is Kyle Shanahan is now 0-3 in the Super Bowl as a play caller in the big time games and the big time moments. When the lights are on bright and the moment needs to be met, the moment needs to happen. Kyle Shanahan is 0-3 as a play caller in the Super Bowl, and I say 0-3 because he was the play caller, the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons back in 2017 in that Super Bowl. And he's now 0-2 as a head coach with the 49ers in the Super Bowl. He's lost to Tom Brady. When he lost to Tom Brady, he was not the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. It was Dan Quinn, but he was the offensive coordinator. And you're still calling plays up 28-3. He is behind that downfall that happened in the Super Bowl in 2017. And losing to Patrick Mahomes twice, having a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl, you can't make these type of mistakes. And the biggest mistake of last night, what Kyle Shanahan did, was giving Kansas City the ball first. And taking the ball, I would have given, what Kyle Shanahan should have did is give the Kansas City Chiefs the ball first in overtime. And why I say this is you could have gave Patrick Mahomes the ball first in overtime. If you did that, you could have had you could have had your defense have one last stop. You know your defense was already out of gas. They were just getting by in the second half. Wasn't really affected. The pass rush wasn't getting home the way it did in the first half. And you give instead of giving Patrick Mahomes the ball first, you force a 3-and-out. You elect to take the ball down the field and only score a field goal, knowing you're giving Patrick Mahomes life, knowing you're giving Patrick Mahomes 4 downs instead of 3 downs. You could have gave Patrick Mahomes a 3-and-out and got the ball back, and all you had to do was kick a game-winning field goal to win the Super Bowl. I truly thought that was a big-time mistake by Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers, not understanding the new overtime rules. The fact that they had to learn the overtime rules, just like Ice Spice did and Taylor Swift did in the Skybox, is a damn shame on the biggest game of the NFL season. I just think that was the big mistake that the 49ers had in last night's game, especially Kyle Shanahan being the head coach. But I just have to think at this particular point, there still has to be, deep down have these thoughts of, with the 49ers losing this game, are they really going to be committed to Brock Purdy? And Brock Purdy has played very well with the San Francisco 49ers. I've already said it on record that I feel like Brock Purdy has already been a more special player at the quarterback position than Jimmy Garoppolo, than Trey Lance ever was with the San Francisco 49ers. This is the most talented quarterback that Kyle Shanahan has had with the San Francisco 49ers and Brock Purdy. But are they really going to be committed to paying Brock Purdy a big-time contract? Because this whole entire roster is still in win-now mode. You still have so many skilled players across the board. But that can all go away if you pay Brock Purdy the money. Are they really still committed to Brock Purdy? Are they willing to give Brock Purdy that money since they lost this game instead of winning this game? If they won this game, I think they would have been pulling out the paychecks this NFL offseason. But you lost. So I think in the back of their heads, they may not be committed to Brock Purdy. And they might try to get a veteran quarterback down the line to pay him on a cheap contract and continue to have success with this overall roster. But we'll see. But before I move on to the next segment, I'll share my thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime performance. I thought the Super Bowl halftime performance this year was really good. I thought Usher did his thing this year. I think this was one of the best Super Bowl halftime performances that we've seen over the last few years during the Super Bowl halftime. But Usher did his thing. He played his hits like Yeah, My Boo, Confession, You Remind Me. It was a good show that he gave us for Super Bowl halftime performance, especially for all R&B fans out there across the world. Usher did his thing. He brought out the stars of Alicia Keys, Ludacris, Lil Jon, but Usher still showed at the age of 45 years old, he still got it. He's still in shape. He was out there roller skating on the stage. He still got it. But damn, what he did during the Super Bowl halftime performance. Hugging up on Alicia Keys like that. Man, oh man, hugging her from behind. He having a big time smile on his face, cheesing like he's taking a picture. The woman is married. And then Usher just got married today. So I was just confused of what the hell was really going on that stage for Super Bowl halftime performance between Usher and Alicia Keys. And Swizz Beatz, I know that's your woman Alicia Keys out there. I know I wouldn't want no man hugging my woman from behind like that. I don't care if he says he was okay with it or not. Deep down inside, I know Swizz Beatz had a problem with it. And I would beat Usher's ass if I was Swizz Beatz the next time I would see him in person. But it's just mind-boggling to me, everything that took place. I mean, if he's okay with it, it's his world. I mean, and if Usher's new wife is okay with it, that's her in her own world. But I just don't think it's a right place and a right time to do something like that on a Super Bowl halftime performance with the world watching you. But those are my thoughts on the 49ers and Chiefs Super Bowl game summary. And those are my thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime performance and this year's Super Bowl